in Plainfield. Corrections officers, we have 21 budgeted positions with 16 of those being filled. This summer, I received 5 resignations. We were down to 11. So we got 4 right now that are in training and 1 starting next week. And then we have a couple more down the pike. So we'll continue to rise up there. Of those 5 resignations, just to remind you, Wyatt Lashbrook was one of he's transitioning to road. 2 went to Princeton, 1 went to a union skilled labor apprentice program, and 1 that said the job's not for me. In addition to being that short staff, I have 2 that are on leave. 1's coming back next week. We expect to lose another one to another agency in this fall. The new facility requires 4 people to per shift to run safely. The jails went to 12-hour shifts until this staffing crisis is under control. Dispatch, we have 2 people that are in the psych evaluation. We had 2 people that we had to let go this summer, and part-time stepping up. With dispatch, a couple things that are going on. We had ERS come in and reprogram our sirens, how they are paged. We have a lot of accidental activations, and we went in and we did a little investigation. So if we were going to set off, we had an accident with injuries in Oakland City, we go set that off. You go over, go to drop down screen, Oakland City Fire, medic 2, boom, you hit those. Well, they pull up there to try and get it out as fast as they can. Oakland City, siren goes off. They hit the wrong one. So George in his infinite wisdom was like, can't we change the name of them? So we put a Z in front of every one of the sirens. It's the bottom of the list. Hopefully that's the end of the accidental activations. That, and we're going to be revamping all those. Another thing that we're doing right now is we're doing a soft launch of a dispatch program that will help us be more in protocol and have better reporting. It is a soft launch, and there's some things that we're working through on how they communicate it. So you may call 911 and they'll take the information and they should say, I'm going to put you on hold while I page the fire and medics, and they'll come back to you. So I'm working on that. It's a soft launch. We'll do a hard launch in the spring of next year. Any questions or concerns at this time? Thank you. And I also had the work release some jail numbers in there as well.
Julie with the health department. I gave you guys our numbers for July. Do you have any questions?
No.
August is all things back to school, so we have extended our hours from 4 to 6 on Thursdays, and then we're doing an immunization clinic on August 16th from 8 to noon. We did start our SOFR team, which is our suicide overdose fatality review team, to help with suicide and overdoses in the county. Mike Flew with Princeton Fire, EMS, AJ, and Nick Burns, the commissioner. We have other people that are going to be on the team as well. If anybody is interested, they can get a hold of us to be a part of that. There is also RWM Ministries has started a trauma reboot, and I just finished the class. It's like 12-week class. They actually are starting a first responders class to help with first responders trauma and injury or trauma class. So that's something to keep in mind. They do have a Facebook page, and then we will share it on our Facebook page as well. All of our programs this summer or with the Food is Medicine has been great. We got to partner with the new YMCA and work with them. We are doing a Dining with Diabetes and a Matter of Balance class in September and October to help with diabetes and then fall prevention. So all these things are on our Facebook page, so you can follow that. See what we're doing. Okay, thank you.
Mount Holyoke Highway Department, chip seal season. We got that done pretty much all before school started. We had some spot chipping to do on milling roads. Finished that yesterday. Paving, we did get everything in, pretty much everything. We have one road in North Gibson. It's 100 East off Carruthers Road. We're planning to do that Thursday. It should be during school hours. I think we can get that in without too much complication there. East Gibson was finished before. We had one day, first day of school. We had one road closed there. South Gibson, we are finishing up by Friday, we hope. Got a little bit of delay this morning because of the rain. We did get back paving, so hopefully the rest of the day works out. So now we are back to, the highway workers are back to mowing, grading, maintenance. We got behind on it. The grass didn't quit growing because it didn't get hot and dry. It got hot for sure, but, so we know we're behind on mowing, we're behind on grading gravel roads, but, we are getting that caught up now. And then, we do have a bridge deck replacement that we're doing in-house for our bridge crew. That's out at Snaky Point, all the way on the very east side of, Gibson County, right just north of, 64, goes back to, Toga River Wildlife Reserve area back in there. So that's a, timber deck, that we're replacing with a steel deck. We started that Monday, but that's being done in-house. Going through work orders and plans and, looking towards more submittals. I did submit for SS4A grant. That's for a safety action plan. I submitted that last month. Not sure, by the end of the year, we'll find out on that. I explain more of the SS4A stuff once we get that to go through. And then, we'll be working on community crossings grant. It opens October 1st. Has to be in by the end of October. My plans are to submit that, right there at the 1st of October. So, that's gonna be interesting because House Bill 1461 changed community crossings grant as we knew it. It's completely different now. This year and next year, there's only gonna be $100 million available, for the entire state, to receive awards on that grant. There were years we were looking at, they were given $250 million in awards. So, the staffing's changed it a lot for community crossings now. They actually reduced the staff, because going forward in 2027, it's gonna look even different then. And we're gonna talk about that more here in a little bit, but, they've changed. One thing they've done is they gave, Indianapolis $50 million of those funds. Indianapolis will, automatically get 50 million. There is a requirement. They have to come up with $50 million, basically match a 50-50 match for it. So, basically 250 million, 50 million is going to Indy. So now we're down to 200, another 20 million is going towards a track program, railroad crossing program. So that's being decreased there also. Then basically the remaining, 100 million is going to, the competitive grant. So this $100 million for the competitive grant will remain, available. Where the big change is, if your community has a wheel tax, you are now eligible for a direct distribution based on road miles or lane miles. So, counties have a lot of lane miles. So, cities and towns, you have to have, I believe it's a population of 5,000 in order to have a wheel tax. So if, your community is less than 5,000, it's going to, have to go to that direct, or go to that, competitive grant process. They're not eligible for the, direct distribution. So, I know we've seen a lot of talk in the news about the wheel tax, and that's where it's coming from, is House Bill 1461 and all the changes, and we'll talk more about that here in a little bit, I'm sure. So, any questions for me, Tyler?
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
EMS?
I will never take the thing, did I? Do a whole bunch of them? Yep.
Oh, there's multiple. I thought you had 3 reports for me.
So this breaks down how much was billed, how much was collected for July. The insurance adjustments, which include the Medicare write-offs, Medicaid write-offs, or insurance adjustments, I should call them write-offs. And then write-offs of 1335. So we had a total of 380 911 calls. We had 75 hospital transfers, which totaled out 455 runs total for July. And then your pie chart there breaks it down by district. Do you guys have any questions on that?
Are those transfers in the red in Princeton included in print? Is it basically Princeton?
Yes.
Is that, they get all the
Yeah.
transfers?
On average, Princeton, I would say, takes more transfers, but we have a rotation
Gotcha.
that goes by truck.
Okay.
So we take turns, since Princeton's usually out on calls.
As far as percentage of transfers are included in that district.
Okay. Anybody have anything else for this? Thank you, guys. You did a great job.
And just so you know, we've been getting our Medicare money back finally.
Good.
Yeah, we ended up finding out it was a national thing, not this year.
Any more department reports? All right. Thanks for coming.
No problem. You say just in case.
All right, we'll move on to old business. First item under old business. See, I didn't make that agenda, I just sticks here. What's that say? Jail update, George Ballard.
Just a few things. We did, 3 years ago, we put in for a program with Duke Energy to do some efficiency stuff, and we actually got a check about a week ago for Duke for $18,852 that they paid us actually back for being, using efficient equipment. However, that still doesn't mean we have electric it's going the whole way, but at least we got that much money back. I was thrilled to get that because of Duke Energy. A couple of weeks ago, we met with Triple I, actually met with 7 of their employees, and Jason Spindler was with me. Did a complete tour walkthrough of the 1948 building, the 1989 building, working on a plan on how to wind that building down and how the demolition of that building. You can't just tear a building down nowadays, especially a government building. And we're in a pretty tight, small location for his equipment stuff to be there. So they're working on a plan on how to do that. We also, I know they put together a contract, or either they have or getting ready to send it to the commissioners to give them a plan on how all this is gonna work, how we're gonna get it torn down in a proper manner. And, you know, we have some electrical bills, not gonna say we don't, but you can't just turn the electricity off in that type of a building. One thing that a lot of people don't know, but when it rains on the 89 building, there's some drains that go in all the way down to the basement of the 1989 building, and there's a catch basin in the built into the floor of that building. Then that water is pumped into the city of Princeton storm drains. So we can't turn electricity off on that building, or we're gonna have a huge water problem in the basement of that 1989 building. So that's just one of several things that we've got to consider. We're kind of relying on Triple I to help us come up with a plan on how that some things that we can keep turning off, but do them in the right sequence, in the right order, so that we don't create a big new problem. And then we'll have to deal with that. So that's kind of the latest of what's going on. Anything else? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jason, Matt, you're back up.
So before I turn it over to Matt, there is a public hearing component to this. Matt's going to give some introductory remarks, and then if anybody wants to be heard as a part of that public hearing, you'll come up to the stadium, state your name, what you want to say in regards to this issue. So Matt, come on up and introduce it.
So what this is looking at the increasing of our current wheel tax. I'm gonna give some background information where this is coming from. So the first task force was put into place 2023. First task force is spelled out first with 2 S's, funding Indiana roads for a stronger, safer tomorrow. So this task force consisted of 4 members of the Senate, 4 members of the House, 8 lay members. I know some of them were commissioners and other things throughout the state of Indiana. Their names are on here, but they went through in 2023 and 24, and they looked at pretty much every aspect of the funding of highways and infrastructure. So they looked at everything from current funding levels, taxing, what was looking forward to the future. One thing that was brought up is, fuel efficient and electric vehicles. We're starting to see a decrease in funding because of that. Starting to see some funding losses there. So some of their findings was that they found there was a $2.4 billion gap required to maintain roads and bridges in good condition. Says the existing funding mechanisms, while vital, have not been effectively adopted or implemented to address escalating maintenance and other demands on the state's infrastructure system. And what they're talking about there is the wheel tax. There's still several people that are able to have a wheel tax that don't have it. And like us, where we're at the minimum right now, the minimum since it was adopted in 1883, implemented in 84. So, in order to start collecting in January of 1984, they had to have it adopted by September 1st, basically. So you have to have it adopted by a certain date for it to take place, starting in the following calendar year. Some of their recommendations, I'll go through all the recommendations because that's basically laid the roadmap for House Bill 1461. So, basically it said that, based on finding number 2, current funding levels are inadequate to meet Indiana's long-term critical transportation infrastructure needs. The task force recommends that the General Assembly consider increased investment in Indiana's road network, or Indiana's network of roads and bridges in 2025. For funding Indiana's road bridge structures needs at both state and local levels. So they're basically saying, based on the findings that there is shortfalls in funding, the state needs to look at possibly finding more funding. The task force recommends the General Assembly administration provide greater incentives to communities that exercise their own local road funding options and prove they're using their road funding resources optimally. So they're looking at, give incentives to communities that are exercising what they have available to fund themselves and how they're actually putting that money forward. So that is the push on the wheel tax and surtax, excess surtax. The incentive for that is if you have it, then you automatically receive that direct distribution of community crossings funds. And then that they're actually using road resources optimally. Another part of this in House Bill 1461 is if your road network has an average Paisley rating above a 6 and less than 15% at a 1 or 2, then the NVH fund is no longer split 50-50, it's 40-60. So they're gonna actually decrease some of the stipulations and some of the requirements of how that money's spent, because you're showing you're doing a good job. Gibson County is above 6. So, I think it's 2027 also on that one. We'll see that NVH restricted and unrestricted fund. We'll see where we don't have to split that out and be as, I guess, the oversight won't be near as much on this funding because it's showing that you're doing a good job with your road network. The task force recommends the General Assembly continue to strengthen their partnership with local governments to improve safety at all points, critical, including railroad crossings. So this is basically, high risk railroad crossings, the community crossings grant, like I mentioned, $20 million is going to be put back for the TRACS program to help fund railroad crossing improvements. That's what they recommended, and that's what House Bill 1461 did, is change community crossings. They put $20 million aside for the next 5 years for that. Last one, number 4, the task force recommends that the General Assembly administration take action to address the infrastructure shortfalls identified by NDOT LTAP. This should include identifying additional sources of revenue, options for counties and municipalities to enact dedicated road funding options on their own, prioritizing investment infrastructure, and optimizing existing resources to support the long-term sustainability of local and state road funding. That's where they're saying they would like to see, in order for locals to meet the needs that they're gonna have shortfalls on, that they are optimizing existing resources. At one point in time during this legislative season, there was actually in the bill, it was proposed that your maximum amount for community crossings was gonna be based on what percentage you were on your wheel and excess surtax. So if you're at the bare minimum, there was gonna be a low amount that you'd be eligible for. If you're at the maximum, it'd be at the maximum amount. That did get pushed out, but I do know that there's still talk about bringing that back in future legislative seasons, depending on how they see the outcome of the next, basically right now, on what locals are doing with the wheel tax. They're essentially wanting to force as much as they can. I will say that I've been told multiple times from state legislators, when you go ask, hey, can we talk about, additional, revenues highway? And the first thing they ask is, do you have a wheel tax? And is it maxed out? And if you say no, they say, we prefer that you were asking for help if all of your resources that you have available were used. They're basically saying they want they're willing to help if you're willing to help yourself. So, and that's the conversations I've had through legislative season, the last 4 years of legislative seasons. So that's been a big one for them. I do have House Bill 1461 here also, that basically took their roadmap and did everything except find more revenue source from the state. The state didn't find anything additional. They're just, I'm gonna call it refunded. They didn't create additional funding, it was more of a refunding. They took community crossings and mixed everything up and are changing the way that's being managed. So, that's the history of what I've seen go down in the last 3 years. It was a lot more time spent on that. It was 3-hour phone calls every Friday for a lot of time, but, that's how it ended up. There was, I mean, House Bill 1461 had, I think, over 32 amendments to it throughout the legislative season. It was hard to track, hard to keep up on. But this is where we ended. There's a lot of other changes in there. Some of them do benefit us. I know wheel tax is what we're talking about right here today, so.
So to answer the magical question, we already have a wheel tax.
Right.
Okay. What is our current?
It is it's a minimum, it's $5.0750. It is the minimum amount,
$5 and
$5 and $7.50. So it's $5 for, I believe, I know it's
like
all
passenger
the
vehicles.
residential stuff. And then it's $7.50 for the, commercial type vehicles. Is kind of the way I explain that there. And that was implemented in they started collecting in 1984. In 2000, when they started collecting in 1984, the maximum, I believe, was 25 and 40 on those two values. And in 2016, the state legislature doubled the allowable maximum. When they came out with that, they basically said, you know, with inflation and cost of destruction and everything, they doubled that allowable maximum. Because of those increases, Gibson County did not act when that happened either. So, 2016 was a law that was changed to allow that to be increased, and it wasn't acted upon in Gibson County at that point in time.
So based on the two questions you're saying are asked, yes, we have a current one.
Yes.
But no, we're at the minimum. They're gonna ask, what would the maximum be? Is that what's presented in
The
front?
maximum is $50 and $80. So it'll go from 5 to 50 and 750 to 80. 80. $7.50 to 80. You start,
If we wouldn't pass this, what's the worst case scenario? What would we be? We
so
wouldn't pass.
what we
this.
would see on this is an increase in revenues of the highway department of over $1 million a year.
$1 million.
It's probably, this is based on 2023 data, like almost 1.5 million is what the numbers were showing, like I said, 2023 data. So, we looking back at 2016 when they allowed it to be doubled, maximum to be doubled then. The way, that could, if it would have been taken care of, you look at the funding that has been lost over the years. Everybody I talk to, they have complaints on our county road network. Everybody does. There's always improvements. There's things to be done. And it takes money to do those things. It really does, a lot. It's not cheap work, to be completed. So right now, with community crossings, we are eligible for the direct distribution, so that doesn't kill that.
You're saying it's gonna be a smaller direct distribution or?
They did put that in, they had it in there and they pulled it back out. So right now, we are eligible for the max direct distribution. It depends on how many people get a wheel tax. If nobody adopted a wheel tax or, between when the numbers were ran or when this law came out and 2027, it was gonna be $2.5 to $3 million on that first direct distribution. Which is very large. That would
That would have been for us?
That would be for us. That'd be for Gibson County, yes. Now, everybody got a wheel tax that is available, that has the option, or legally can get a wheel tax, surtax, excise surtax. It was gonna be around the $1.7 million range. So it depends a lot on, we see in the news, Evansville, they just this last week, they're talking about it. This is why they're talking about it. This is why you're seeing a lot of this is, they're essentially forcing locals to give 1 for 1. Right now, it's just having it is sufficient. But going forward,
What if we,
expect it not to be.
what have we lost recently on the community crossings? Because we haven't got it in a couple of times, right?
No, they got it last year, so.
We did get it?
Yeah, last year they did get it, this year they did not.
How much did we get last year?
They got to 1.5 million.
1.5. And right now, the way it's wrote, would trigger enough. Nobody gets it 2.5 million.
The only one. So the way it's wrote now. The maximum was 1.5 million the last 2 years. That was the max of community crossings. They announced just recently that the max now is gonna be 1 million. So this next call coming up in October is gonna be maximum of 1 million.
Okay.
The direct distribution does not have a max on it. The direct distribution is based on lane miles. And with, Gibson County having 912 miles, every road we have is a 2-lane road. Cause we don't have 1-way roads. But like out around Toyota, those are 5 lanes. So our lane mileage in Gibson County is very, very large. It's gonna be, it's a small percentage. I think there's 173,000 lane miles in the state of Indiana for local governments. And we're gonna have 1,830 of those. So we have a very, very large amount of lane miles. So that distribution will be based on how many lane miles of locals have a wheel tax. That money goes to them. So if there's only 100,000 lane miles of municipalities that have wheel tax, we're gonna receive a percentage based on our 1,800 miles. Like I said, which is a large percentage. I think the city of Princeton has 58 miles. So, say, they're over 100, so their portion is directly related to how many lane miles they have. So if Princeton was to get a wheel tax, they would get direct distribution also. And one thing they do put in there also, like for Princeton, they get that direct distribution, which is guaranteed funding to them. They can apply for, in the competitive process, the difference between the million and what they got, if they have projects and they have the match available to apply for that funding. So like us in Gibson County, more than likely with our lane miles, we'll just receive a check every year. It'll be above the maximum. We'll receive above the maximum. And that check will just come in year to year until legislation changes it again, which is possible. I think it's gonna be based on how successful this program is.
If we raise the wheel tax, what about the distribution? Does it affect that at all?
No, it won't affect the distribution right now. Right now, we have a wheel tax, we will receive that direct distribution. So.
And then the presentation here, the paper that I have in front of me is showing the 50 and the 80. But we could go anywhere in between that if we decided.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be
Yes, and one of them you can do a percentage base too. I don't remember if it's the wheel tax or excise surtax tax, but there's actually a percentage way you can go to. Where it's not just, it's a set fee. I think it's based on the age of the vehicle. There's a certain percentage of the maximum, or there's a set rate based on that. It's a percentage. I know it's a maximum of 20%. So, there is another calculation you can do it instead of set fees, yes.
Excise tax.
The excise surtax? Yeah. Excise surtax, you can do a percentage, you can do it based off the percentage.
Would it have any effect? I know like on smaller trailers, below 3,000 pounds, they now have lifetime plate for them, will that?
Yep, they still have, it's still a lifetime, and then there is no renewal because it's lifetime. It will not affect that.
Yeah, I'd be in that first table, about halfway down, trailers, permanent new,
Oh, I see there. Yeah.
or permanent renewal, I mean. The one right after that.
And I know one thing that we're looking at, we don't know, there's a lot of questions about, the Senate Bill 1, how it's gonna affect county governments.
Yeah.
That's one, I don't know if you guys have your heads wrapped around it yet, because I do not yet, but, they're definitely calling for Senate Bill 1 having major shortfalls in county government. That's where this could be definitely beneficial on offsetting a lot of those shortfalls.
So every year though, this is a trigger. And it has to be done. To where it is established in place by September 1st.
September 1st, we have to have it submitted to the BMV and, what is it, Department of Revenue. We have to submit that in order to start collecting that new rate in January 1.
So
If
it's
you
always
miss that
January,
September 1 deadline, you have to wait till the next.
and it's a whole January one again.
Yes.
No matter when you do it.
Yes.
if you do not pass it by the end of this month, finalize it by the end of this month, you'll
Well, we've
be.
actually passed the wheel tax. It passed
Yeah,
when I
if
was
you
2
don't-
years old, so I don't have to worry about that today. You're just requesting us maxing it out, right? I'd be interested in the public's comment. I know we have some here, so if we can go to the public hearing, Jason.
Okay.
I would like to open that.
So now we'll open it up to the public for comments. I do have a copy of the proposed ordinance up here if you'd like to see it. It was also previously made available through the county website and other locations. Come forward, state your name and state your position on the issue.
County Commissioner Chuck Lewis. I just want to affirm that this is not something that the county commissioners wanted to do. This is something that, based on the legislation and the changes at the State House, forcing local governments to take more responsibility and ownership of being able to fund their projects, that it's kind of been forced on us. I agree with Mr. Holt's recommendation that we go ahead and take it to the maximum. I know nobody wants to see taxes raised, but I feel if you do it in one fell swoop, rather than if you do 50% this time, and then we find out that that affects the amounts of grant money we can receive, and it leaves the highway department in a shortfall, and then you have to come back in 2 years and raise it again, you're gonna get a lot larger public outcry. It's gonna hurt everybody in the billfold. It always does when you raise taxes, but I feel that's the commissioner's point of view on this situation.
Mark Berenbacher, Fort Branch. My position on the wheel tax is, I don't like taxes going up like anybody, and it's my understanding that, you council members are basically being forced to do this by the state in order to somewhat, have adequate funding. So, y'all taking the head for it and gonna get the blame for it regardless of. what
We're
you
very
do.
used to that, unfortunately.
Well, I just want to make it clear that I understand that, you guys are like between a rock and a hard place. So what I would like to ask is a few questions on basically funding in general for how we fund our roads and bridges, which is what this wheel tax is supposed to be going for. And a few questions for Mr. Holden. But first off, I was just wanting to bring up that if the council's aware that a recent report of the U.S. News and World Report ranks Indiana's roads the best in the,
I saw that.
in the country. And they base that on data from the Federal Highway Administration, and they use that Indiana has the lowest percentage of roads considered to be in poor condition. So a question I'd like to ask Mr. Holden, Gibson County roads as compared to the rest of the state, would you say they are average, above average, or below average condition?
What I'm seeing, we're above average.
Okay, and then as far as the bridges, I think every few years, the Society of Civil Engineers rank the bridges. What sort of grade would you give?
I'm gonna say the bridges are probably average or just below average.
So about a B, C grade?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, all right. And then, something else for the council to keep in mind, besides this push for a wheel tax, I don't know if they're aware of the, increased cost in, fuel that's been passed this recent July. As of July 1st, Indiana's gasoline excise tax is now 36 cents a gallon, which is a climb of 1 cent a gallon. Indiana gasoline sales tax is up by about a cent, or 17.5 cents a gallon. Federal gas taxes add 18.4 cents a gallon, and there's also an oil inspection fee of 1 cent. So the total of state and federal taxes on gasoline is 72.9 cents a gallon. So besides your expensive license plates, it's also going to be expensive to fill on. It's good. And then another thing, if the council's aware, and this goes back to state funding, And this is something you can't blame the feds on. According to this, 2015 FAST Act, Indiana's, return on the federal gas tax is 92.8%. So when you follow that general rule, the state usually follows an 80-20 match. We're getting more of our share of the federal gas tax versus everybody else. So that's something else to keep in mind. As far as local roads, I pulled up the 2025 budget for Gibson County. You have 3 line items that deal with roads. Line item 702, which deals with the highway. 706, which deals with local road and street. And 790, which is the cumulative bridge fund. Are those the only line items that deal with roads and bridges?
There's money in edit, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you got several line items in edit for.
Okay, but I did the math and we generally spend, or this year we approved a little over $7.5 million for roads and bridges. Okay. And I was looking at the highway and local road fund, there's no property taxes involved with those 2 line items, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now the bridge fund has a tax levy of 0.0589 and generated 1.6 million. And the line item called for like 2.1 million. So after the property tax for the bridge fund, we're the
There's a
remainder.
fund balance.
Pardon?
It carries a fund balance.
And part of this federal aid projects, they're 80%, 80-20 max. So only 20% of that is required by us. The other 80% is reimbursed by the federal projects
So for the bridge fund, we don't have to put up 20% and the
on
fed.
certain projects.
Okay, all right. And as far as, I guess, a general question, as far as funding of roads and bridges in the county. Property taxes for a few things.
For bridge.
The wheel tax. And state funding.
Gas tax.
Gas tax. Okay, so that's basically the funding.
Correct.
Okay. All right, now I got a real world example next. Thank you. I've given the council is actually my registration, my current registration for my Toyota Prius. And I wanted to highlight and point out a few things and give you like a real world example of what would happen if you pass this tax. I've also included the current BMV fee chart on the second page. If you notice on the registration, I have a $0.3 off to the side there. Okay, regardless of what you do today, I'm going to be paying $3 more for my license plates because the tax for the hybrid portion of the registration went up $3. So if you do nothing,
Still going.
my plates are going to go up. Now, I've highlighted where and my total is $139. Okay, this is just for the number. Of that $139, a $21 excise tax, which I assume is paid to the state. The wheel tax, which we've had since the 80s, which is of $7.50, and $110.35 is paid to the state. Now, I'm assuming that all 3 of those numbers or all 3 of those dollars are paid to the state, and then you get a portion back. The wheel tax that you're getting, do you get it all back or a portion of it?
The only thing that doesn't come back is a 15-cent charge for the BMV to administer that. So we would get $4.85 of that would go to the county, the whole overall county wheel tax. Some of that does go to cities and towns also. But it all goes to highway departments inside, highway/street departments inside the county.
So of that $750, the bulk of it comes back.
Yes, except 15 cents is all it's not seen
Okay.
at the local level.
So, if you decide, in my case, in this particular case, if you decide to go for the max on the wheel tax, I'm looking at an $83 increase, so I'm looking at a little bit over, $200. Okay, $210. In my case, this instance, so. And then the last bit I'd like to ask is, community crossings. And, Mr. Holden, answered some questions. I guess the first one, he mentioned twice, but there's something in the community crossings about, railroad crossings. It was always my understanding that the actual railroad crossing belonged to the railroad and you had to get after the railroad to fix that. Has that changed or what's?
No, that still is, but you can use funding to upgrade and work on railroad crossings. Just like,
But it's,
the overpass by the north side of Toyota, that is actually our structure to maintain.
Okay.
Pass vehicles over, so anything with that structure is the responsibility of the county to maintain, build and reconstruct that.
so we're not gonna be doing like actual intersections that the railroad should be doing.
I'd say you can be spending that kind of funding on that, yes. I'm gonna say, depending on, like I said, it's a new program, kind of a new program to see what all they're gonna allow on that. But there could be possibly upgrades, but I'm not just throwing out there, the state and railroads would like to see less railroad crossings. Their idea is less crossings, less safety concern.
And then the only other question I have, concerning that community crossing, they have going off an article, published in July. Besides the towns and the counties pushing for a wheel tax, the community crossings is also urging the townships to create an infrastructure fund, and any excess funds then go to the county. So I'm asking.
That is correct. The way that, I understand the way that works is they're gonna be requesting in October that townships put together a report, I guess I would call it. And that report would show all their funds. And if there is unallocated funds, is my understanding, 30% of that has to be put towards, road improvements.
Oh.
So now my understanding, I don't know what kind of funds are available in our townships, but I don't think there's much to speak of, is my understanding.
So are you saying that the townships won't come up with their own version of a wheel tax?
No. It's just the current fundings they have and what they have in their fund balances is what the state's looking to use some of those funds on roads in that township.
So are we talking like an additional levy for the township or?
No, it's just of what's currently available, what they currently get. It's not allowing them just to bank all those funds back in the bank. It's forcing them to use part of those funds towards some road work. There's no additional increases that are being talked about on that at all.
All right, I just wanted some questions answered and good luck to y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Cardwell.
Thank you for that.
Anyone else for public comment? So for the council to finalize this today, you would have to suspend the rules after the first approval. And that's the only way you can make this go into effect at the earliest possible date, January 1st in 2026. I suppose you could have a special meeting, and I don't know when you're having budget meetings, but technically you could do it at a budget meeting if you got one before now, the end of the month.
Yeah, there's no budget meeting next week.
There is or is not?
There
is.
First read. What is the will of the council?
Is there any way, as far as increasing the max, or if it doesn't affect the matching funds or anything, or the matching funds, then we wouldn't necessarily have to max it out at this point. I don't know where a happy medium or not maxing it. would be, but if we didn't max it out and then they went back later and said that we're gonna start matching funds on the amount that you are taxing, and we would still have time to max it out. It's,
Right now, that's not in the bill, correct? Correct. Yes, Bob, absolutely. We don't have to pass it the numbers that are presented. We can pass it whatever numbers we come up with. And this is something that hasn't been touched in 41 years.
yeah, 41 years.
I swear, every time we do something with this council, we're cleaning up a mess that when I was still wearing diapers. So like, it probably should have been addressed at least every 5 or 10 years or something. But here we are, hold the ball, so. We're gonna have to make a decision on what we wanna do.
I will also talk about, so not all this goes to the county highway. It goes back to cities and towns also, like the city of Princeton is estimated to receive $220,000 a year. I'm guessing they're probably in the $20,000 to $40,000 range right now. So all the cities and towns are gonna see increases where that will really help the cities and towns, take all the smaller ones that are in Princeton. But they're gonna have to go after this community crossings grant. They're gonna have to apply every year. They can use that money as their max. Well, that $20,000 that, Patoka is gonna get turns into $100,000 on a grant like that. So they're gonna see, all the cities and towns are gonna see increased revenues in this. And yes, my recommendation to them would be, hey, use that funding as your match to do more road work. Because they did change the match from 75-25 to 80-20 for smaller locals like ourselves. So everything in Gibson County is not gonna be a 75-25, it's gonna be an 80-20 now. So that's gonna be beneficial to the grant also.
Are the municipal town in Gibson County or any of them large enough to do a wheel tax?
City of Princeton is the only one that has a population large enough. All the other ones are not eligible.
And Princeton doesn't have one now, or?
No.
I think so.
Are they looking to, if they were to raise one for themselves, would it be on top of this one as well?
Yes.
So you're saying if we set a 50 and they set a 50,
They can actually set higher.
so let's just say we set a 50 and they set a 50, the
Yep.
person lives in Princeton, goes and gets their license plate, they're paying 100?
Yes. That was a very big conversation in legislative season on allowing / not allowing the stack and legislative.
Can we get off cell phone silence, please, for the meeting? Thank you.
I still ask a question.
I don't think we closed public hearing yet, have we technically?
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay, go
I was
ahead.
just confused about the.
You care to come up, David, just so the microphone and I know who you are, but. Thank you.
I've just got a blonde question. I thought I heard you a while ago say that the community crossing grant in October is gonna be a million instead of $1.5 million. But the wheel tax thing, when that starts, let's say next year, are the community crossing grants still gonna be there? That you have to apply for each year?
Yes,
And then the difference between the two is gonna be the wheel tax. And then
Yep.
whatever you collect on the wheel tax, take that away from the max, community crossings grant that you would have gotten. So it'd just be the difference.
correct. So
Why can't they just do the community crossing grant each year?
it was working great. I mean, say
Okay.
one, I mean, the reason they changed it
Mhm.
is to force locals to get a wheel tax, to collect funds on their own. That's
Mhm.
the.
So are they gonna tell you, no, you can't even get the grant anymore because you're not collecting, the max wheel tax? Cause we have a wheel tax.
Yes, they can't say that.
They are,
Yes,
yes,
they
Is that
haven't
in
yet.
that right now?
It's not in this today,
Okay.
correct? But it was in there at one point in time. It got pulled out in the last couple of weeks.
Mhm.
They did change that. That was a big push from everybody to pull that language out.
Mixed feelings about it. You wanted to know the
Yeah.
people's opinion. I have mixed feelings about it. Why can't we keep it low? And then if they, from a business standpoint, I'm looking at it. Let's apply for our community, foundation grants. And try to get the max that we can until they say,
then max.
yeah, now you have to do it. Cause if it's not have to right now,
Time to apply.
Then the question is, how do we offset the shortfalls and the funding problems that are currently there without.
Right.
That's the only option to create more revenue, to do more.
Are we just having funding problems right now?
No, we've had funding problems for years. I mean, like I said, 2016, when they doubled the maximum, that was this telling communities, hey, we're allowing this to be higher because we know we're having shortfalls. 2017, when the gas tax increased, that was supposed to be a 20-year fix. COVID is what caused that 20-year fix to disappear because of inflation. You know, we all feel what's going well happen with that. Everybody
Right.
does. And our road networks do also. We're seeing probably up to 50% increase on construction projects. How do we keep maintaining our roads? You know, what we're gonna see is our roads decline.
Right, so we
So-
don't, none of us want that, that's why I've got
Correct.
mixed feelings.
It's very
about it.
much,
So,
I agree,
you know,
very much. Makes sense.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you, Tim.
So. Further on what she said and you said before, so. Community crossings is maximum of 1 million, so if we increase this and get 900,000, we're only gonna get 100,000?
No. So community crossings that you receive, if you're in the competitive process, is
Mhm.
$1 million. Okay,
Mhm.
so this October, $1 million is the max you can receive. It's expected next October, $1 million maximum you can receive. Now, 2027, that's when this direct distribution comes into play. It doesn't matter what our wheel tax is right now, as long as we have one, as long as something don't change the next legislative season. Right now, the way the law is written, Gibson County has a wheel tax, so they're eligible for the direct distribution, which is based on our lane miles of roads. We will actually receive more than that $1 million because of how many lane miles we have. So we'll be above that maximum amount. So it's a really big deal that, yes, we do have it. That's the first big plus. The problem is, legislation, first task force, they're all throwing that out there, that locals need to find the revenue. And they're not gonna help.
This isn't the only situation that's happening at the state level. They're passing everything down to us where everything's got to be local income tax, and
Yes,
it's gonna make us be the bad guys in all.
it's absolutely,
It's,
it's making the locals be the bad guys.
welcome back.
We also have to keep in mind that the Community Crossings Grant Program was $500 million statewide,
250.
Huh?
250.
250, and now it's going down to 100.
Yes, very competitive grant process
So
this
it's
next few
gonna be
years.
even harder to get, so it's not money in the bank.
So this money
Can
really
guarantee you're gonna get it.
is to feed a shortfall in the county.
Yeah, basically, it's
Decided-
fall from the last.
Make the community
20
grant
years.
crossing work better. Okay.
Hi, I'm Bobby Joe side, and I just had a quick question that came about. How do neighboring counties, like you say, was that 80 is the maximum? How do neighboring counties compare with what we're asking?
Throughout the state, it's a mixed bag, to be honest with you. I know Montgomery County is kind of work with a lot. They maxed theirs 2 years ago, before this was even really a lot of legislation things. It just depends. I know, it's Vanderbilt, I have to look to see if Vanderbilt has theirs adopted. I don't think the city of Evansville does right now. That's why the city of Evansville is in the news about all this. Because they don't have one and they're being forced to at least get it. I believe there's 56 counties that have a wheel tax. And I'd have to ask LTAP on where people fall on the minimum and the maximum. The only one that I know for sure is that the maximum is Montgomery County. And I said it's because I work with them daily. And I know what they did in their process 2 or 3 years ago. But I mean, that is a question that I can get answered from LTAP on where everybody lies.
Yeah, Larry.
I'm Larry Mickle from Fort Branch. As a taxpayer, and I know there's gonna be a lot of questions asked. To ask the taxpayer, I've got several vehicles and they sit around a lot of times. So it's gonna increase, it's gonna increase the wheel tax substantially for me. But will that do? We basically, you're in budget talks now. will that decrease the pressure on property tax, or will property tax remain the same way that same way with safety tax? Did that lower the property tax any, or take pressure off the property tax? Or is that just an additional tax? Will this just be an additional tax, or would it be some property tax relief?
Matt, do you have any?
This probably would not have any effect at all on property taxes, because it goes into the MVH fund. That's where it goes.
I know from our safety tax, I mean, we're not talking about that, but we're gonna move things off general over there to where we can cover the increasing needs without increasing our general budget and actually not moving out. But yeah, the property tax on wheel tax, I don't think they correlate. That'd be great, wouldn't it? All right, we're gonna officially close the public hearing now. I think we accidentally sort of did it, but we're officially closing the public hearing now. So now we need to put this agenda item in front of the council. What is the will of the council?
I see it as something that we're gonna have to do eventually. And I'm, just me personally, I'm not at that point yet where we're gonna go from $5 to $50 or $7.50 to $80. I think it's gonna fall more back onto the commissioners and us that we're gonna have to sharpen our pistols, just not automatically going, hey, we're gonna pass it on to the taxpayers. I think when I first came on, however many years ago, Bill McConnell was going safety tax, safety tax, safety tax. And 12 years later, we finally did it. I'm not saying this is gonna take 12 years to do it, but I'm not to that point where I think we're in gloom and doom where we're gonna have to do it today to get it done for January 1st. I'm not saying that we may not have to do it next year or the following year for the 27 with all the new rules. Sum up, in my back of my mind, I'm thinking we went through all that to do the safety tax, and a few months later, 3 years from now, they say the safety tax is gone and we're gonna have to pass a different tax or change the tax, how it goes for that. And I don't think I don't think personally that I think we can survive a little bit longer to make it through. That's just my personal opinion.
I feel like it's always easier to eventually increase the tax than it is to decrease it, so I'm not leaning towards maxing it out either. Seems like we have plenty of time to be informed that if they change the rules, that for us to get our matching money, that we would have time to increase it at that point. So I don't think I would be for maxing it out either.
Mike?
Well, my comment is, why did it take 41 years? Then we have to approach this thing. That's the way government works. Should have been done on an incremental, we wouldn't be here today. Yeah, it's too much, I think, at one time to hit the public with this kind of an increase. It may have to be done, but I'm probably agree that we can, I think, hold off. As long as we don't put the highway department in a bind by doing this, that's the main thing. We take care of the county. We got the best roads. All you have to do is drive west a little bit into another state and see I think they only got 30% of their county roads are blacktop. 60% of or more are gravel. We got some of the best roads around. I'd like to see us keep the roads going. So, but I'm kind of in it says, I think we need to do it. I really do, but that's quite a big jump. Up to that amount from 5 to 50.
And Craig, anything?
I don't wanna max it out.
Is there interest to do a raise to the safety tax? If we do nothing, it just stays at $5 and $7.50. If we do nothing today. Is there any interest to bump it at all in an increment here a little bit?
Well, it hasn't been bumped in 40 years. It might be a good idea to consider.
If we're gonna do that, it has to happen today in order to trigger January first, otherwise we wait until next year to do it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
That's why I'm saying, I think we can, I don't think we're at the point where we have to do it today where I think we can survive next year where we get more numbers of what, if we raise it 5 to 10 and the different amounts that it's gonna bring into the county where we're at a comfortable level that we can set it at that point and survive for, like we've been saying, it's been 41 years, maybe every 5-10 years that
We do that, yeah.
we look at that number where hey, we're still doing good at $10, let's keep it at $10. Or, hey, we're struggling here, we may have to raise it to a different amount at that point. But to do it just off of whim because we've waited till the last month to do it, I don't agree with that because that's just passing a blind number that really may not help at all. And after we look at all the numbers, it may be closer to the 50 than it is to the 5, but without having that right in front of me, I'm not willing to set a number. And do you agree we'll make it next year?
We agree with what?
We'll survive a year with,
Well, yeah, I mean, doesn't
Yeah.
want to see your roads decline or increase or stay the same.
yeah,
I mean, you can imagine the amount of, I can't say that anybody in the county's not had a complaint about a road at
yeah.
some point in time.
And
I
I agree with that and somewhat they'll get new paved road and I heard complaints too, so.
Yes,
So we can't just base it off of just complaints.
We'll still be able to fund the
Yeah,
highway department.
Correct.
there's still funding, yes. There's still funding there, yes. It's not something that was budgeted for next year or anything like that, just being up in the air.
This
yeah,
isn't common what Matt's doing. He's being proactive with
Yeah.
government. Normally we're reactive in government and he's looking at what's gonna happen. I talked to Mike last week from an auditor's conference perspective. He's scared to death right now of where our funding levels are gonna be. So this county is unbelievably lucky to have Matt here in front of us with this.
I agree.
Because for 41 straight years, this ball's been dropped.
Go to the jail, I mean, how much of that jail was saved for when that happened? I believe it was fully bonded, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, we got in front of it by a couple of years, but that was it, so, kudos to you.
Being moving forward thinking on it, cause.
and I
you know,
appreciate that. I'm not,
Senate Bill 1 is not directly affecting highway departments, but we know it will indirectly affect highway
It will.
departments.
yeah, there's a lot of
The edit.
here.
So, getting the impression, are we gonna get a motion of any sort? Are we leaving this alone? What, you guys are gonna have to make a motion if we want to move this in any direction. With no motions being heard, this topic will die for lack of a motion. Matt, I would encourage you to bring up wheel tax at every meeting from here on forward. That way it's always in front of us.
Even if it doesn't get done now, even if it gets done next month. You know, next month, it will be effective 2027.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can continue this conversation.
Absolutely,
The issue today, the urgency was to get it for 2026.
yes.
Obviously, I don't think that's gonna happen today, but I definitely wanna, we definitely need to continue to have this conversation. Excellent presentation. Thank you for all you do for us. Jason, thank you. All right, we'll move on to new business. Prosecutor. Additional appropriation.
Well, my topic is not as exciting as the real bag.
I'm sure it's gonna enlighten us all. Can't wait.
What I can present to you, however, is asking for an additional appropriation that does not come from tax dollars. It comes from money that's already there. It's still there, and we will actually get reimbursement from the federal government for part of it. So I'm asking, I think I broached this topic in our budget. Asking for a new budget item or increase as far as the Laserfish, which is our filing system. If you look at the second page, I need an additional appropriation. For the amount there, $14,741. I'd ask for maybe just round it up to 15. I asked that money come from our deferral money. which again is not tax dollars.
What's your fund balance?
I'm not exactly sure. I'm not sure if we spent any money on that right now. I think it's probably 5,000.
That's not gonna work. You want 15,000, your fund balance want 55, that's not gonna work.
Well. I'm sorry,
45,000. Was the original
well, I mean,
change it? I wanna make sure we get the right.
no, I appreciate
We
that.
get that fund balance then. It's gotta be more.
Are you talking fund balance on the
I'm
deferral?
talking, I'm getting ready to jump in a swimming pool, I wanna make sure it's
Yeah,
water.
Councilman, I thought your
I'm
request,
not diving into an empty pool.
I thought your request was for my fund balance on the line item.
No.
There is,
That makes a lot
Yes.
sound better. You're over 200,000.
yes, my deferral money is much
So,
more than.
what do you want us to advertise out of that? You need 15,000 advertiser, or do you need 45,000?
What I need for the end of the year for this is $15,000.
Yeah, he has a fund balance of north of 290,000. He's asking us to advertise and spend. I'm like, got a motion. Thank you.
It'll be in this.
I will do one motion at the end, but you'll correct that.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like we're gonna do. Obviously, we got advertised.
My initial request was based on next year's,
I got it.
so
They got you. Thank you.
that's where my confusion was. Thank you.
Sheriff.
All right, we want to start with how the state of Indiana has failed us or end with that?
No, I think Matt covered it.
No, this is a different thing. I will go through these. I'll just start with how the state of Indiana is failing us. The Indiana Sheriff's Association has owed millions of dollars by the Indiana Department of Corrections for housing felony, level 6 felonies. I don't understand how we went from a surplus in the state of Indiana to suddenly not paying our bills. And it angers me. And the Indiana Sheriff's Association is not happy. I've spoken with the number 2 guy at the Indiana Department of Corrections on July 28th and August 11th and asked where my paycheck was. They owe us $363,000. That's what we usually make in July or August. They've not even voted on that budget of what they're gonna give us. They keep kicking it down the road, which is why I have to come to you guys today and ask for an insane amount of money that usually would go, traditionally will go in the future to the county corrections fund. So I'm gonna go through this quickly. This is very, very serious to me and I wanna make sure I explain it. So utilities, we're asking for an additional appropriation of $145,000. Our new facility is over 2 times the size of the 48 and 89 jail. We're paying utilities currently on the 48 jail, the 89 jail, the gray building, and the dentist office where EMA is at. We have solar panels that were put on top of the new jail. And we have people looking in to see if they're actually doing anything at all, if they're working properly. George talked about 3 I's decommissioning plan. I won't bore you with that. You've already heard that. But I'm worried about the mold. I don't want to have an environmental crisis. So that's the utilities. The medical, $110,000 appropriation. Our population has slightly increased in the new facility. We have our contract through Quality Correctional Care, QCC is what we call them. They have a nurse that we staff 40 hours a week. And then we also have a nurse that comes in on the weekends, works 16 to 18 hours on the weekend. And we have a doctor that's on call and he also does a couple on-site visits a week. In that line item, we also pay our dental care out of there with our dental contract. And I'm working on getting that MOU signed. But people that come to jail aren't in good condition. Their teeth are horrible. They have a lot of ailments. With QCC, we have this pot of money that we kind of sit on to pay these unforeseen things. The pot's empty. Hospital visits have increased. That also is part of our overtime. And we've had a lot of extenuated stays in hospitals where we've had to sit with inmates around the tri-state. The copier, I'm asking for a $6,000 appropriation. The monthly leases for all the printers and copiers in the new building have increased from the old equipment. The lease is about $1,450 per month in our budget right now. Our budget balance is zero. The next appropriation I'm asking for is $30,000 in meals. We have increased numbers of inmates and work release clients. The cost of food has increased, but the $30,000 will get us to the end of the year. The overtime, I'm asking for $155,000 in overtime. Jailers are working 12-hour days due to the staffing shortage. So of the 5 days they work, 8 hours a day is regular time, and the other 4 hours is overtime. That is because of the, we had to do that scheduling because of the way our benefits are. 8-hour shift is what we do our vacation, sick, and all that stuff. Average daily overtime since we moved into the new facility is $16,500 a day. The current balance in the account is $12,240. We have 10 payments or 10 paychecks left in the year, and the estimate is $165,000. If the county corrections fund gets the DOC money later this summer, we can pay from there. I know we asked for $90,000 appropriated a few months ago. That was in anticipation of getting this DOC money. I am bringing on new staff. Like I said, I have 4 people that are in training right now, and we're going to hire another one next week. And other ones are coming up. We're getting our numbers up. The inmate transports to hospital usually brings in overtime that we have to do. I've stepped in to assist on these inmate transports and hospital stays. Because I'm salary and I can sit there just as easy as anybody else. The last appropriation is out of the diesel fuel and gasoline fund. I'm asking for $60,000. That's to cover gas and vehicle maintenance. How these things all tie in together. I went to Conroe, Texas, which is just north of Houston, on a Sunday to pick up an inmate, and had to take an officer with me. That was overtime for him. Had to pay for gas. And if we were going to contract out with a company that picks up inmates and brings them in, the prices that we were quoted were $2,400 at the low end or $8,000 on the high end. But by me driving down there on Sunday and coming back on Monday, we got it in a minimal amount. So the total request that I'm asking for is $446,000 out of the jail, and then the sheriff's fleet maintenance fund $60,000. Also, another thing, we bring in about $32,000 a month into that vehicle maintenance fund, the fleet maintenance. So $446,000 out of the budget, and then $60,000 out of the sheriff fleet maintenance fund. If we get this DOC payment, when we get it, that would be hopefully around $363,000, which would really be $83,000 that I'd be asking for out of the general fund. Then you take the $60,000 of the sheriff fleet maintenance fund, and it drops considerably low.
Multiple questions here.
Yes, sir.
The sheriff maintenance fund, the advertisements I'm showing here are 105,000. We got 25 for diesel, 20 for repairs, another 40 for diesel, and then 20 for vehicle repair.
What I have on my sheet that I was given by George was the 60,000. Is that?
We had an additional come through before those were sent. It was additional number 7.
Okay,
I didn't.
additional number 7.
Yeah, that was the one that returned it last month. I think we should
No.
vote on it today. Is that right? Oh. No, Diane, put those together.
I got 2 7s and 2 13s. For that vehicle, and neither one of them have been advertised. So the request would be 105 a day. What's the fund balance on the vehicle maintenance? Sheriff fleet maintenance. So it will cover that bill. Right, consistently on that. Okay, next question. We'll get that one fixed for you. The overtime request, I understand, because you don't have staffing levels. Where are we at on your salary line though? Because that could be an in-series transfer. We shouldn't be spending the salary money, right? Because we're short. So could we not move salary money to the overtime line? Till later?
An overtime line, you've got to, we still got a few openings. We've been transferring, we will transfer that money in the future.
I think this is to ensure, what we're doing, what you're saying.
Okay.
But this is to ensure that we make it to the finish line and don't have to come back and bother you guys again.
Appreciate that.
At least tonight's this level. I know we've had a great day today.
And then when you get reimbursed, that will go right back to our general fund.
So it goes to the county corrections fund, but on this kind of thing, we would pay you guys back.
Transferred out, would that be?
Can't transfer it out, but what we would do is not pay out of the general fund, but out of the county corrections fund.
Okay.
So we would make those corrections if we.
So at the end of the day, the general fund will fund how to recoup on not spending on this side. So we're gonna have to do 2 advertisements for Bruce when this is all done. One is gonna be out of his sheriff's maintenance vehicle fund. He's gonna end up asking us for 105,000 because the 2 from last month, Bruce apparently didn't get advertised, just so you know.
Yeah.
He's got $124,000 balance with constant money coming in there, so that will be able to sustain that. The other one, the big one that he's got is the $446,000 of all of them. Where that's just general funds, the only place we're gonna be able to afford that from. But as they just told us, when he gets reimbursed,
Any estimate on when that, if he gets reimbursed?
No, usually it's July or August whenever we get it. All the sheriffs are struggling right now. You have it, Fred.
So if we advertise it and then get the check before next month, we
we don't have to spend it.
Right.
we can lower that amount, right?
Can't do anything about it.
Yeah, we were kind of trying to push as far as we could, and we're just to that point, we have to suck it up and say, hey, the Indiana Department of Corrections failed us. And I will assure you, come legislation time next year, I will be at the State House, voicing my concerns about this.
He didn't ask to speak.
Thank you, Bruce. And then the other 2 additional requests that we have. Oh, wait, yeah. You can't go right. Mike's making me move on. We'll get back to that. Jim McDonald, are you in the house? I swung the gavel. I'm gonna say it.
Thanks for entertaining us today. Here with the Gibson County Solid Waste. Just a history note, George brought up the 1948 building. My grandfather was sheriff in 1948. And my father lived in the jail. And his wife cooked the meals for the inmate.
Absolutely not.
Think how much mortgage you save, right?
Break that up, you know. We're looking to cut the budget. We definitely want to cut the budget, not.
Or no.
That's a hard no.
Okay, fair enough.
So the funny thing about it is, my aunt was a senior in high school and she was dating my uncle. And my uncle used to tell at reunions or big family gatherings how they started dating. And when they started dating, they lived at jail. So my uncle always told everybody he had to pick his date up at the jail. And at the end of the day, he had to sign her in back to the sheriff. Just a little history. So we're here today, asking for additional appropriations for solid waste. We have opportunities to, do some capital improvement, and that is on, dump site location. One's in Somerville and one's in Johnson. We've entered into purchase agreements with the landowners to buy those instead of leasing. What we're finding out is that landowners want more per month. And so at this rate, what they're wanting, we can basically recoup that money in 8.3 years. So we're looking to buy it, to control it. And you might say, well, why don't you just move the site? Well, to move a site like that would cost, if we found a site that would rent to us, we need electricity. We need road access. So we estimated $75,000 to $100,000 to move. It's $25,000 just for the fence. So when you start looking at that cost of moving, it's not efficient for us to move. So that's why we're looking for a capital improvement in 2 locations. That's why you have those purchase agreements in front of you. But we'd like to take that, we'd like to have additional appropriation, be able to do that, and I believe the money is there. Is that right, Lee? Yes.
So how much money are we talking?
Yeah.
25,000 per site,
And how many sites?
50,000.
I make that motion.
And you got the fund balances.
Yeah,
We know that
I
number.
got
I
the,
just like to put that on record, where the fund balance is.
balance.
they got the money.
Land acquisition fund balance is 25,000.
You're asking for 50.
No, 50
We're,
additional.
we're going, we wanna go outside the budget.
No, I get the budget. I'm saying the whole fund.
Right.
We need to appropriate more money out of your fund. What is the fund balance? Not the appropriated line of 25,000.
Oh,
It's-
I can find that, I'm sorry.
It's, well, over maybe.
Okay. So we got enough money.
Yeah, we got plenty of money.
The total
Yeah.
fund balance
They
is
got enough
actually closer to 3
Well,
million.
there's a hinky law out there that says we're not allowed to appropriate money if we don't have funds. So,
Yeah.
and I don't want to commit a misdemeanor on public record. So, that's why I asked that question every time.
Fund balance is around.
All right, so I got a motion to approve the $50,000 advertisement. I have a second from Bob. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, John. Good luck.
The next thing on our list is insurance.
Oh, there's no.
You will explain that.
When I got Sandy on as my controller, when we were going through some of the things, getting our insurance, we pull our insurance off the computer. In other words, all the information off the insurance comes from the computer. And we saw one of the entries, didn't jive with what we thought it should have been. Come to find out that for 2 years, we were giving the insurance company half the amount of the, IPEP, number for the premium, because the computer was archiving 6 months of the information. So we've been going back and forth. They've given us a little bit of time and they've given us a little bit of leeway. Long story short, they want $15,000 to cover what we were underinsured for those 2 years.
We have covered that you have the money, so I'll entertain a motion to advertise for a $15,000 discount.
I'll second.
Well, you gotta burst it.
I'll make that.
Oh, thank you, Bob.
I thought you meant.
Thanks, Mike. Any further discussion? None being heard, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Is that it? No more money? All right.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna slip in here. I know I'm not on the agenda, but Gibson County Redevelopment last night passed a amendment to their annual spending plan, and according to the State Board of Accounts, I'm supposed to notify the council of that spending plan. You don't have to vote on it or anything like that. It's just knowledge only. Some of those items on this plan have been taken care of, such as the EMS, YMCA. But we did have to add the Gibson County Animal Shelter. They've allocated 500,000 to animal shelter, and we had to increase the Fort Branch wastewater amount.
There's just for
Information.
our reading pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you know what the revenue balance is as last night?
Around 8 to 10 million, probably.
82 million?
8 million, huh? Now, in that, we have, some, you see county roads, Tulip Tree Drive, there's 3.5 million there, it's sitting there. For Tulip Tree Drive, I think we have about 8 million allocated for Tulip Tree Drive, which is probably about 8 million short. So we have to. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Erica, do you want to go on this or not?
No, it's all right, because David bought,
So there's money left in ARPA, or is that all they funded in ARPA?
It didn't come with stretchers, it was just the load assist.
So does your requested include the stretchers or not the load assist? And how much money? You want to come up here? Go ahead and make it. Sorry, guys. We had a sidebar conversation because we didn't think she needed this, but it sounds like she does.
So each packet includes, we went ahead and included each truck that we have and how many miles are actually on that unit. And then in the packet, it shows how much stretchers are and how old each stretcher we have is. They actually will not, they will not, work on our stretchers anymore because they do not certify them at 17 years old. Or 14, however old they are.
So most of our cots are all the way past the service date. We did get ARPA money back from the last director that purchased the power load system to lift the cots actually into the truck. Saved on a lot of back issues. But our cots are needing replaced and for about $30,000 a cot.
And how many cot?
Need 4 new ones.
What do you guys think?
So with the cots not being serviceable, they also will not certify them if something happens and a patient is on them and it can be at fault of the cot. So that also puts a little bit more liability on us if something happens to the cot because they're not certified.
The back page of one of the packets shows our oldest cot is 17 years old, our newest one is 6 years old, but most of them are over 10 years.
So
What's the lifespan of, what is that?
7 years is the serviceable lifespan.
7?
Stryker starts to make their parts obsolete after 7 years, so they won't service them after that. Anything that you get part wise after that is used parts, refurbished parts.
Business parts.
Yeah.
There's only 2 stretcher companies, Stryker and Bruno.
They both do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, you're on the list of additionals. You can hang around for a minute.
Okay.
I do have a question, like on your, like all the other ambulances you're getting for. So do you take that cot, like, let's say you're in ambulance A and you switch to ambulance B, you get the good cot. That one,
Yeah. We have a couple of cots that are the old manual cots that are used as last resort. Because they're not, for one, they're harder on our people to use, you know, you have to lift up all that weight and everything. And those are the cots that are probably 17 years old. So, it's a possibility that if we got some new cots, we could trade in those 2 oldest cots. And get a little bit back towards our price.
We'll holler back at her. Stephanie, we finally are at you on the agenda items. You just started. There's a $4,400 or $4,800 check.
Yeah, I can remember if I say you bought the these or not.
Oh, there's 2 of them.
Yes.
And this is to limp us along and keep us going until we can get the new ones installed.
Everything's working.
Knock on that wood right there.
It's really.
Mhm.
And he can testify that they go all
So-
kinds of hours.
We have a bill.
That's what I was gonna say.
These are 2 bills for repairs on the current sirens. Obviously, we're pushing to get all brand new sirens installed. It looks like we're gonna get that done. But we're gonna have to pay these bills because we told them to green light this, no matter what the bill was to send it to us. So we have a bill for $4,848.25 and a bill for $3,543. Both of these can be satisfied with the fact that it's money. So we'll do that all in one appropriation
Oh,
motion,
okay. Got it.
unless you guys had questions for Steph.
No.
You did great.
Want to
Thank you.
know anything about firearms and stuff or anything?
Not right now, I don't think they're good. If they're working, that's all we need to know. All right, that's all of them. Right now, can I go to the big page? All right, we'll break this down by count on the advertising.
hang on, I do have a question here. We met on the siren thing. Then it's supposed to went to the commissioners, I thought they were bringing that to us today for that, to pay for what we voted on the tie. That not on there?
You're not ready to present a bill for the overall project yet, are you?
Yeah.
I thought in your minutes you did vote on a company and the number, but I haven't seen a. Yeah. We're not ready for that yet.
It wasn't pretty long.
Well, we're getting closer
Yeah.
to replacing
We will work, but we didn't work the. Yeah.
the bid, we just don't have to pay for it yet.
Right.
But it's a lot lower than we thought. What was the bid at? Like 400,000 or 500,000?
Yeah, can I give you the?
480.
408,000, which we were thinking 800,000, so.
Yeah.
And just, go ahead. Just to be clear, it wasn't the cheapest, but it was the best, or the cheapest best one. We had estimates well over a million.
And to help Bruce, this takes out human interaction.
Right, so there'll be a computer over on the side, whenever the National Weather Service or whatever branch they're gonna go with it, we'll set it off. Whenever they set it off, they say there's a warning.
All right,
The only time that we will need to do it is if there's a train derailment or something, some kind of public safety thing that we'd set it off.
still test them every Friday.
It's,
And that would be automatic, it's no human error.
yeah,
Excellent.
and the cheapest one didn't have any of those options. It was more or less back to where we at now, and it
Yeah.
wasn't a whole lot cheaper, honestly.
So. Okay, no.
Need to go up so we can get you on.
Understandable, they take it away.
Yeah, build.
So. We've discussed it in our committee and everything. Those two sirens, well, all the sirens are working, but the most recent ones that have been repaired. We can save components from these. And use if anything should happen with the new ones.
Yeah.
Because they're new, so we're spending money, but there's also a cost savings. That makes any sense.
Okay. We're getting new ones. Bottom line, we're getting new tires. All right, so first things first, we have personal services transfers. Out of jail general from part-time to overtime of 4,000 to cover the dispatcher wages. Out of series transfers. Prosecutor deferral user fee. From utilities to supplies in the amount of 2,000. 1176 motor vehicle highway from county engineer highway superintendent into professional services. Amount of 1,882.87. General EMA from part-time to contract services in the amount of 7,768. General clerk of the courts from durable equipment into oxygen in the amount of 2,500 and office supplies into computers and equipment in the amount of $352.43. These are all out of series transfers. I'll entertain a motion to approve. I'll make that motion. I have a motion from Bob. Second.
I'll second.
I have a second from Jay. Any further discussions on the out of series transfers? None being heard, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, first up will be sheriff's jail requests. They totaled 446,000. He made an excellent presentation. 110,000 for medical contracts, 145,000 for utilities, 155,000 for overtime, 30,000 for meals, 6,000 for copier. He's gonna get all this refunded and give us a check back. Okay, that wasn't said. The only place we can get this right now is out of general, and then as he gets reimbursed, we'll pay for it, vice versa. And he may not need it if he gets the check in the next 30 days. So I'll entertain a motion to advertise.
Make that motion. That's it.
I have a motion and a second.
That's terrible.
Any further discussion? I'll signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Matt. MVH additional for tires in the amount of 10,000. Additional for garage and motor cost and price and acetylene and oxygen for welding room and costly unexpected rebuild of air compressor. Plus increase for cost of supplies with the previous year's budget increase in total 25,000. Cost of rental equipment 12,600. Needed to rent a 2-room for chip and seal projects for 3 months. And then other current charges of 60,000 is cost increase for the Toyota signal contract with Homa Electric. That totals $107,600. That is gonna be advertised out of NVH fund, which has money.
Yeah.
Remember my last question.
800 or some thousand, I believe, in the restricted side. They're probably down to 5 million now. There's no.
So a motion to approve the additional advertisement of $107,600 out of NVH.
I'll make a motion.
Jay Riley has a motion. Do we have a second?
That's it.
Second from Bob.
Good.
Any further discussion? I'll signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Yeah.
2 approvals. Last month we advertised radio equipment for the sheriff, 110,000 and 70,000. Those have been advertised.
No, those are gonna get advertised this time, like auctions.
Oh, okay. I thought it said approved in 78.5.
You approved it last. Put them in on our advertising.
All right, we're gonna relocate this. I can hear approved. We're gonna add the two that I just said. We're gonna skip that because that's coming out of this. These are all 1 and 2 safety tax. Right?
Is that where you want to do?
I think that's where we should do it from. Which one? Or the radio equipment for sure. So let's stop on those two. I have 110,000 and 70,000. We discussed this last month for the ERS wireless upgrade to fix the radio system. We definitely have that in the safety tax. So for a total of 180,000 out of the safety tax. Oh, we can. That would be the only other thing on the safety tax.
We do have some, you know, this. We have something that we're about, something that.
Oh, wait, you're right.
Some at a,
The two, they were Riverboat and State Oak.
Yeah.
that is approved to advertise those.
But it ain't get advertised.
But I'm going to.
Yeah.
So rescind everything I just said. 110,000, we need to approve to advertise out of Riverboat. That is the discussion we had. We're gonna take it out of Riverboat. Do I have a motion to advertise 110,000 out of Riverboat?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, this was all talked about last month. I'm glad you corrected me there. Do I have a second? Second from Jay. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The other one is 70,000 out of the 911 fund.
Yeah.
We're gonna advertise.
So moved.
We just pieced this project together is what we did. We took some out of edit, we took some out of 911, we took some out of red. Too many numbers in front of me today. So I need a motion to advertise 70,000 out of the 911 fund.
Motion.
Thank you. I have a second.
I'll second.
Mike and Bob, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, those are check marks. Now. Let's just do the prosecutor user deferral fee. He needs to advertise $15,000 out of his deferral fee for the laserfish. Motion. I have a motion from Jay. Do I have a second?
That's it.
Second from Bob. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, the sheriff fleet maintenance fund. We have a balance of 124,000. He's requesting 105,000. 25 for gas, 25 for maintenance, 40 for gas, and 20 for maintenance. These are 2 months' work put together. So I need a motion to advertise to appropriate from the sheriff fleet maintenance fund $105,000.
Move.
Can I get a second? Handle with the second. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved. Then the last one will just be the structures and the siren repairs, right? All right, this is the will of the council. We can take both of these from the safety tax. So the stretchers are gonna cost us 120,000, siren repairs total 8,391 and 25 cents. So I would entertain a motion to advertise from the safety tax for 4 stretchers at the rate of 30,000 apiece, totaling $120,000, and to pay the 2 siren bills totaling 8,391, for a grand total of $128,391.25 out of the safety tax. Let's just go 129,000 for even zero. Do I have that motion?
I'll make the motion to.
I have a motion from Jeff. Do we have a second? You're so close, Craig. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Have we paid all the bills?
At the moment.
I feel like we got them all. Did you write it back?
Except the auditor's office.
Yeah, I'm gonna die without a motion. Is there any further business to be brought before the council today?
The auditor's office.
Other business, any other business? Oh, wait, Patty, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Patty Banner with the Gibson County Chamber of Commerce. I just want to let everybody know we still have some envelopes, so if you have not purchased your envelope of the 144 envelope fundraiser the chamber is doing for scholarships, please see us at the office. And we will be drawing September 1st for those regardless. And we will be having a ribbon cutting on September 25th at 4 p.m. for the Isaiah Project's new facility over in the Y building. So if you can attend, please do.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you. All right, with no other business, we will suspend the meeting for a brief break and then we'll come back to budget hearing. Thank you, everyone. We did get the 4B pushed out. The 4B was pushed out with a $26 million request that we're putting in. That gave us about 130,000 negative, which was no point. Jeremy likes to see that line 18 around 6-7 million. There's no way we can get there. Lowering down to $1 an hour raise for all our county employees. And then one big one I saw that is wrong, we need to change, was the county councils allotted. That one, we accepted no raise and added $500 for the president.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
So we need to fix that line item number. And that will be in the commissioner's budget, right?
No.
Oh, we have our own budget.
Would it be
It'd be an $88,000 budget.
64? I think we have it. It's about page 14.
I made my own, so let's.
Okay.
So an $88,000 line for us, which is just a $500 increase in the salary for the stipend, basically for whoever the president is.
Okay, I put in 88,000.
And then 85,000 for professional services.
Yeah, that's good.
And then we're gonna start utilizing our safety tags and budgeting correctly. So out of the jail fund or the sheriff's fund. This is one. I have it on here.
Oh, we spend a lot of money out of that safety tax.
We're doing okay. We've got,
Yeah.
we ran numbers this week on what it is
Okay.
got, what it's
Okay.
gonna get and what we're projecting to use. And we'll
Okay.
still have a surface fund of
Okay,
over
I think I saw that. We're done.
by the end of next year. But there's 3 huge items between the sheriff's office and the jail that we could move to safety tax that will save us over $1 million in the general fund. In the jail, it would be meal money. Move $380 worth of meal money over to the safety tax. 80,000. So that was what the request was. 380,000.
Oh, in budget 380. You're heading me on
To 0.
to
Line number 38000, meal money. But we're putting that into safety.
page 34. Right. So what line?
38000.
Okay, you want 380 to go to 0.
We're gonna move it to the safety tax. We're still funding it, we're just putting it in safety tax. And then, when you're ready, go to the sheriff's line item. And we're gonna take overtime and the pension contribution out and move it over to the safety tax.
Overtime over them.
The pension contribution, so 350 on the one line and 350, 396 on the other line.
So it's 0
But we wanna make sure that they all get put into the safety tax, because we have to pay their bills. Now, if we do those 3 moves. We give $1 an hour raise. And we made the slight adjustments here and there. We gave no new employment. Request for extra deputies or corrections officers or EMS employees. We did not have the ability to bump FTEs this year. This gives us a general fund that will be advertising $23,332,088. That brings our line 18 that I was just talking about just south of 3 million. We feel very confident that our interest rates and returns will be better than what we're anticipating. So, I don't want to throw numbers out on what we think those will be, but it's a comfortable area that we can live in. Like I said, we'd like to see that line 18 around 6 to 7 million. There's just no way to get there. Every quarter raise that we give, every 25 cents in a raise we give costs us about $120,000. Based on the number of employees that we have, so we're going for a full dollar. That's close to almost $500,000, that's greater than the growth. So I hope our employees understand that we're doing the best we can, but this may be the last year, based on the scares that we're all having right now with House Bill coming. We don't know what's gonna happen with our safety tax, it's probably going away in 27. It's all getting lumped into other things, state pushing us to make more income taxes, they take other things away. We've had the wheel tax discussion today, so I think in the last 3 years, this council's done an outstanding job of doing raises compared to what we've done historically in the last 50 years. A couple years ago, it was $2 an hour. I think last year was $1 an hour. This year's $1 an hour. Those are well over a higher percentage raise than what they're normally. This isn't solely, so any of you guys chime in at any given moment here on what you want to see, what you want to change, if you want.
Say a dollar and it's crazy, it's like 500.
Basically, that's a rough round.
With the church figured in,
Yeah.
and all then call. All the total costs.
I think it's. Rachel, get the people,
I'm showing 23.
same rate there.
332.
Or
88.
332.
088.
It is so good. What are they? You know what they are. You can't go back and work. You know,
I mean, you guys are gonna have to run these numbers again, obviously.
I can. I've done
It was
that.
done on highway. There was a complete job title change, restructuring,
This is
everything.
just general.
Do I?
This is just general fund we're talking.
Okay.
We haven't got to you yet. Is that the same, or you guys?
Balance was gonna end up being, and we were at 2.9.
9, yeah, just south of 3. And that's with very low estimates on our interest returns.
The last 3 zeros, so it'll be a little bit better.
Yeah. So we're breathing right now, our head is above water. I think next year our nose is gonna be above water and that's it. But we're gonna have to really, really tighten it up next year. And we knew this every year, it was kind of,
Yeah.
it's gonna get way, way
Said it
worse
last
next
year.
Today is just us discussing, put the final numbers in for next Tuesday's official first readings. So does anybody have any other input, anything else you wanna see, any questions?
What do we get a year roughly on the safety tax?
Where's our paper? Okay.
I've got a payment.
Let me see here.
I got
I thought I was going to be, well, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Derek, I do have a question. The coroner didn't usually discuss whether you do a raise or not. We didn't, I'm not sure whether to do a raise for them. And then.
budget that was presented to me didn't include a raise.
And so either,
As the budget that was presented,
okay, because he did not.
he presented a budget with no raise, I guess he doesn't want, we don't want. Sorry, guys, you're not getting one either.
2 years in a row.
Yeah, I know.
According to the internet, we already did.
I heard you made a lot of money according to the internet. Nick, is it Wi-Fi commission? The Wi-Fi? I'll never use.
Judy, Wi-Fi.
I'm sorry.
It's the Wi-Fi.
I don't know.
It's internet. Yeah. Gives me internet. Oh, yes.
Sorry.
All over again.
I've never, no.
No.
Well, we have our first day with that, I didn't. We do all this.
325, for sharing policy for them. We've got a salary limit. You want to say, you know?
No, for like next year.
Oh, from next.
I'm getting my email, you sent me that thing, I can show everyone the date you sent me. What she sent me explains it very well.
Okay, thank you.
We don't need to talk about safety tax just yet.
Okay.
We need to finish this general fund discussion for that.
Does Jeremy have any thoughts on what?
Me and Jeremy have talked, knowing that he wasn't gonna be here today, and also about this. He's, obviously, he's the one that likes to see that number higher at 6, 7 million.
Sure.
He's he's living with this, he's fine with this, and not, I'm not fine with it. You know, I mean, it's doable.
Okay, Derek, I go have a question for County General.
Okay.
The commissioner raises. You guys did not take a raise except for a little bit for Jeremy,
Right.
so I didn't know what you decided on.
We decided no. Unless anybody else changes their council and commissioners, we were gonna be good stewards of the county's money and not take a raise.
The only thing we did,
Over here, listen.
Well, you already make 80,000.
Out of 87,000.
Yeah, I am president too, but I'm not gonna say.
the only thing that we did was we put the president a $500 a year stipend because the president on this board has so much more
Yes.
to do than the rest of us.
If you think
If that's what.
he's worth more than our president, that's your.
President's worth 10 grand more than our president.
I have to say.
All right, well, we're good. I think those are the numbers we'll go with for advertising for next Tuesday.
What, so, maybe.
All right. I think they're worth it, don't get me wrong.
No, no.
Yeah, we're gonna. Okay.
So you guys can speak up and say you want to raise and we'll lay somebody off.
Not saying anything.
On your shoulder.
All right, we're gonna put a 500 in for Commissioner. There, make it better. Commissioner President will get an extra 500. Same as the council. That's a next year's president though.
Oh.
You guys can fight over that $500.
Oh. Right now. We have got the stipend for the certificate.
That's on the MBH, right?
It's on.
It's on general.
It's on general.
Where's it at?
General.
That was for the.
ERC.
ERC.
What line is that?
We didn't have a line, we just said added.
Where's it at though?
We added it 12011.
Under commissioners?
Stipend, $2,000, yes.
It's in, we left that in.
Okay.
No, it's 1,500.
Yeah, that got left in there as well.
Okay, all these court reporters, they're one page same as paralegals.
Yes.
Need to know what that deal is, and I need to know line numbers, I don't know.
What's that payment?
We mean, like, line number. Did we not agree to keep the court reporters as the same as the paralegals, so just be done with it? Everybody's. Yeah. The court reporters are the same as the paralegals.
What's the amount for the paralegal, I don't know.
Okay, so we're talking the chief court reporter.
I don't know.
I can't access, I think I've saved something in the wrong place, so I can't get my worksheet I worked on. But basically. So I need to be giving all court employees essentially. I mean, we're talking Nicole, Wendy, and who are we now? Kim. Or they all need to be getting the dollar raise and the $1.72 raise we gave the paralegals. That's what we're saying.
It's what Jeremy called it, we were chasing our tail or something. The rabbit race, or, I'm looking here at what
The chief court reporters weren't included in that, from my understanding, but now we are going, because they're already making more. But we're gonna go ahead and.
I think what we're saying is the minimum that they're gonna make is whatever they said the paralegal at.
But they're already making more than that.
And
The chief court reporters are already.
Yeah, not the base.
They have it
yeah,
right now, the way it is they are getting
Paralegal would be,
the paralegal raise that we gave to everyone. The chief court reporters are gonna get that paralegal raise and then $1 on top of that. Is that what we're doing? They're already making more than paralegals.
hold on,
I thought we were just made the.
Well, we said it was gonna.
We're gonna match.
hold on. Let's all agree on the paralegal number first. Right now, I'm showing a paralegal at 49,338.
We do it by hourly, no.
My food.
And this would include the dollar an hour, if you want, the number I'm talking about now, 49,338.
$23.72 an hour for the paralegals.
Which court has the chief court report?
Both of them.
201 and 232. As well.
I don't think they could, but they might.
No, they don't. So just 201 and 232. That's true.
And I overstated that amount. It would be $1 raise plus the 67-cent raise. I forgave it. So
So I'm showing,
$1.
I'm looking at Superior Court right now, okay? I've got a court reporter at 49,338, like I said.
Yep.
And then I have a chief court reporter at 51,855.
Yeah, that's what I penciled in.
That is with, I believe, the $1.67 rate. Let me make sure.
I think what I did was I took the current paralegal added the raise.
Go ahead. There it is. So I have a court reporter in circuit court and a chief court reporter in circuit court. Yes.
Okay, the number that you have right now is $1 raise, no 67 cents. Are we going to add the 67 cents that we gave? So basically, their issue is we raised the paralegals to match the other paralegals. Well, now, those paralegals are closer in rank to those chief court reporters, and they're not happy about that. So it's the same thing we've been dealing with this whole time.
Well, I can assure you, nobody's happy about it. So
So-
that's not gonna be a very hard.
They just don't like that their underlings are closer to them, which is, I mean, the same thing we were talking about with.
But look at the chief of police in Princeton. The 14th highest paid officer on that department. It's just gonna happen. I don't have a fix. This is the budget numbers they presented us. We went from a $2 to a $1. These are the budget numbers the judges brought us. I didn't, that's what they brought us. All we did was change from $2 to $1. So I'm honoring the request of the judges.
I was told the judges did request it.
All we did was change it from a $2 to a $1.
Okay, so we're.
So whatever I'm looking at is what was brought from a $2 to a $1.
We're not touching, they are getting the same raise as everyone else. There is no raise associated with the raise of the paralegals.
I'm telling you, I haven't had a discussion with the judge.
You're talking about for the chief.
Yes. Both the chief court reporters have reached out to me saying their judges have told them they will be raised by $1.67, so that they are. Just,
I know.
again, I don't make these decisions,
I haven't had that
I
conversation.
just carry them out, so.
All I know is the budget that was presented was a $2 raise for everyone, and that included bringing the paralegals up, the court board of the paralegals power. We said cut it down to $1 an hour raise. I haven't had this dollar.
So I am giving the chief court reporters $1 an hour raise.
We are giving.
The instructions from the council to me
There you go.
are.
I'm not sure where the, I'm not sure where the confusion is. The judges brought us a request, we lowered it by $1 an hour.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Thank
That's
you.
all I know. Does anybody else have a different influence on them? Did anybody else give it different? Did we change it in any shape or form from their request, other than we met like a 2 to a 1?
I have my instructions, that's all I needed.
I feel like he doesn't like that.
I feel like my entire job is people coming and telling me that I'm wrong, that I do everything wrong, that it is my fault their pay isn't right, and so I just want clear instructions, that's all I'm asking for.
Am I wrong in what we cut this budget? Because I didn't cut the budget. When the new numbers got put back to me, we asked for less.
Okay, I've got.
I'm asking a question.
I'm sorry.
I'm asking a question.
Okay,
Go ahead and ask it. So when the budget was presented at an inflated 26 million plus, we said remove from $2 to $1. Okay, and that is what we are doing. But my question is that, did that change in this, because what you're telling me is all conversation I have not had with anybody.
What do you want me to say? I was asked to bring it to the council's attention. I have received my instructions. I will tell the chief court reporters, that is the decision. I don't make decisions, guys. I don't know why everyone's asking me. I follow your directions. I asked for guidance.
I think.
That's all I want. I will tell them, they are not getting the 6 to 7 cents. What more can I do?
Never heard the 60 cents. Nobody's ever brought that up. Any of you, but why not? For the cheap.
Yeah.
They're still making $1 more an hour. But they wanna make it $1.60. That wasn't brought up. What was the original budget request? Was it?
I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was included in the
To the.
Well, we didn't chop a 67 cent raise off anybody. All we said was, instead of 2, take it to 1.
So I should, that's what I'm asking here. Is it $1.67 raise for them or $1? That's what I need guidance on.
And we put a dollar.
Can I verify these numbers?
Please.
Okay, so if we look at the public defender,
Mm-hmm.
we are going to compare legal at $1 an hour raise, which takes it to 49,338.
Correct.
Okay, so we will follow that through to Superior Circuit and Magistrate Court.
That's correct.
At that same rate. And then chief court reporters will get the $1 an hour raise on top of what we're getting this year right now. And, I think that's.
So it's $1 raise. We good?
I don't know. You're the one who worked up here. You tell me. I didn't know we were bad.
All I'm asking is for clear instructions and I got them, but now I guess I'm.
So the chief court reporter is gonna be 51,855.
Which is what I did. I was told they are getting that raise. I just need clarification. I don't know, I'm sorry that I have upset everyone so much.
Everybody over here is upset. I'm trying to figure out what conversation was had.
I'm sorry.
The budget
I apologize.
The budget that was presented by the judges is $1 less than what they presented. So if they took that 67 cent raise out, that's on, we didn't.
He did say that.
We didn't minus any 67 cents.
Thank you.
Minus $1.
Yeah.
From what proposed.
Yeah.
Does anybody else see it differently? Am I
Put it on
missing?
everybody's, but presented $2.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
Off of that, what is, without the raises, what is our increase over? In on the new budget, without taking $500,000 off, you know?
What was the 24 advertised budget?
What was the increase?
What was the question?
What was the overall 24 budget?
2024?
Yeah, but he's asking how much we want.
No, we don't.
Or 25, we're 25.
Thanks.
No, there you go. I'm off.
The 2025 code back.
Okay, that's pretty safe. Okay.
Oh, where are you going?
Before any raises, how much?
Oh, we're at 23.3, you're looking at, you're probably at 22.9.
22.9 increase?
No, 22.9 would be budget that we set without a raise. That would be 26, I'm not sure what.
Derek, we have a question.
What are you asking?
Okay,
Well,
budget for 25.
Uh-huh.
What's the increased budget for 26 without the raise? What's the difference?
5 is what it.
25. Before we add the raise.
What's going up besides
Yeah,
the
it looks like we.
dollar there?
Yeah, so that's.
It's about 24,000.
24,000. The total budget for 25 is.
Or you may have not been there.
No, because like the general fund budget on there, and that would.
Okay, that ain't what's there. It's just, I didn't really.
Well, it'd be the total, not just knock off. the half
I don't,
a day.
it can't be that, because we're way under that right now.
24,500.
I'm sure that's not this year's.
But that is this year's.
Like I said, it's not last year's.
I don't want that. I need to separate it because I've got all the funds together.
Yeah, he doesn't have it completely separated out. I don't remember what the final advertising number was. Yes, Chuck.
Judy had a question. We have some part-time employees, like people at Bo Hopkins Park. Is the $1 an hour raise across the board or full-time employees only?
What did we decide on? I think it's full-time. Full-time on.
Thank you.
All right, we good on part-time?
On those we've got, and then I'm just having a look at County General. I don't think I had any questions that were answered yet.
Okay. So on the safety tax, current fund balance is 1,900,000 and some change. We have an expected 2025 revenue of 997,000. The only thing we got budgeted is for the sheriff's cars this year, which is some random 323,615. So that's gonna leave us with 2.5 million with a continued revenue of almost $1 million. We're gonna push off those 3 items, 2 from sheriff, 1 from jail. We have an EMS line right now that we said that we were gonna advertise at 350. We're seeing numbers for a new ambulance and I absolutely have to have 1 new ambulance next year. We need to bump that to 500,000 in my opinion. And then the sheriff line will continue with his 350 there. So that would still leave us with over 3.7 million. But I mean, we're still gonna grow that fund. We're spending it appropriately, but we're maintaining the fund balance. We'll be able to pay 500,000 for sirens when they come through. We did a little bit today, so it's doing well. So it would be my recommendation on the 26 appropriations that we do the 350 for the sheriff cars, 500 for EMS. And then those 3 line items that we mentioned that we're gonna move off general.
I'd like to see just being on the pension board over there. The sheriff's pension is actually in good shape, but projected out, it's going up and up and up.
That number is the new actuary's projection that we need to increase to.
Well, I'm saying we can pay over that even now that we have the safety tax before it goes away. That way,
What do you wanna put in there?
33 years down the road, when that safety tax goes away, hopefully that, whether this year 350,000.
Yeah.
That number is 200,000, what it was a few years ago.
So you wanna put some cushion?
Yeah, I don't, so now that we have that safety tax and we can utilize it a little better. And there's wiggle room in there for right now.
Can you tell me why maybe there's something why the safety tax don't go away?
Yeah, they're changing the way the lid structure is. We'll be able to give it to EMS will still be able to use it for them, I'm pretty sure. But
We'll be able to collect it, but I mean, it's still gonna be collected back.
it's gonna be a weird pot.
Yeah.
Did you get the, AJ, did you guys get the, ambulance that David ordered? Did that ever come in?
There was 2 of them, yeah.
We have one that aren't, actually, one. But they said it'd take about a year for it.
They came at the same time.
Okay, sure.
Yep. That's the one, either 53 or 52,000 on that list.
Okay.
Of my list is already, all the rest are under as well.
So you wanna jump the sheriff's pension line into 500,000?
Yeah, I would pay a little bit and try to get it level out a little better than before.
So that still shows us $3.4 million in the balance. Which is still really good. We've never had a balance like that. And that, okay. So I'm gonna say this out loud if you're ready. We're gonna talk safety tax appropriations for 2026. So currently, we have the only one appropriation in 2025 is that 320 some thousand for the sheriff card. Correct? Okay. For 2026, EMS line of 500,000. I'm about to give you $500,000 and you're gonna interrupt me?
What if we bump it up a little bit more than that, just in case?
Well, I am bumping it up because your bills you.
Well, yeah, I want like 300.
Yeah, so I'm giving us wiggle room at 500,000.
Okay.
I can't get you to 800 though to get you to, it's not gonna happen. No, I know, it's all figured in. The sirens will come out of this year, but we'll have the money. So EMS 500, the sheriff vehicle line 350,000. Sheriff overtime line 350,000. Sheriff pension line 500,000. And jail meal line 380,000. And even with putting those in, we're at 3.4 million. Knowing that we probably have $500,000 expense on sirens, we still are north of 3 million on fund balance after a year and a half. And we're doing cars, ambulances, sirens. It's doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah,
And it took some,
pick it out of the
it
jail.
helped us loosen our belt on the jail fund, $5 million.
There.
Yes,
So, do we, is this how we're going to distribute the safety tax every year? I mean,
they get reappropriated every year.
I mean, it's not like,
I think the safety tax is gonna change, so we'll have to do it year by year now.
but it's not like certain, like the sheriff's gonna get a certain percentage or.
No.
EMS, you know, it's just.
As needed.
As
Based on needs.
Absolutely.
Okay,
And that way we have fund balances to when 2 ambulances blow up at the same time, we can pay for $1 million.
And it was like, wait, I have a question.
Yeah,
Okay,
so that way we're putting in some money in the bank. Now, like I said a minute ago, we're not jumping into an empty pool head first.
Or
Unforeseen circumstances.
so like, let's say in August next year, something happens, I need living.
We'll have a fund balance and we'll just do like we did today with 6 million additional appropriation.
I got you, okay.
That makes sense.
That's why I was like, wait, I have a question.
If we sit here and appropriate that entire fund balance, that takes our fund to zero and that gives us nothing.
Okay,
We're taking what we need out of it. We're eating out of the bowl right now, but we're leaving some cereal in there.
okay, I should have asked, I apologize.
Or that's Mr. Fairmark says.
You're listing all of your appropriations for the safety tax.
Yes, sir.
Well, wasn't this originally when the tax was set up to money to go out to the volunteer fire department?
All that's already out of that.
That's
That's a whole nother trigger. It's already gone. The numbers I'm talking about, that's already pulled out.
The numbers there is our.
This is just our part. So like the cities that are eligible, that money's already taken out of it. The county, like you're talking about, that money's already taken out of it. The numbers I'm referencing are what we get to use just for our county benefit.
Okay, so I guess, it's a county tax, but who's, I guess, administer those funds, I guess? Is it you guys?
I'm confused at the questions.
Hey,
Well, you listed
Fort Branch Union Township got their draw. Owensville Montgomery got their election district, got theirs. The city of Princeton got
The
theirs.
trustees that were in 2 months ago got their draw.
Any of those fire departments that are eligible under the state regulations already got their draws.
And they administer their own money. We don't touch that.
well, I mean.
They come to us,
Issued money? Okay, all right.
yeah, they come to us and we,
The county.
County has a fund and all those other.
But it's no
entities have
different.
their own.
It's no different than edit tax. If your municipality inside the county is eligible for edit, that money gets to them and they deal with it accordingly.
So it's a county tax. Your appropriations are talking stuff that you guys control.
Just our county portion.
Right. And as far as these other entities, you know.
They have their own little fund.
That came from the state.
Correct.
Out-
It came through us, obviously, but it gets distributed out like edit, like co, any other lit gets edit.
But it was a county tax that the money went to the state and the state distributed to these fire departments.
No,
No.
it's no different than the way edit and co-it's distributed.
Okay, all right.
It's distributed
I
identical.
just saw you.
the county distributed it, but this is after all the other.
All the distributions are gone.
Well, like I
This is-
said, I didn't hear those.
Yeah, all those are already gone. We're not even talking about because they're not ours. So this is just our money that we get to spend
Right.
between EMS and fire and EMS.
Understand.
Yeah, correct.
After all that, I still would have 300 million or 3 million in your
That would be real nice. It'll probably be around 3 million, because we're gonna put about 500,000 accounts savings, sorry. But after they spend everything next year and we get all our draws, we'll still have a $3 million fund balance.
Or more.
Roughly, more.
Is that something that we're gonna continue?
No.
We don't have to increase it ever, and as long as our funds are growing and we're paying our bills, I don't think we need to increase it. We
Try to increase, I mean, something that we get every year and then.
Right now we do, but I think they're changing lit by 2027. We'll just have to deal with it instead of, so right now we have safety tax, we have the jail tax, we have co-ed, we have edit. What it sounds like they're doing to us is they're just gonna say you have a local option income tax and it's one bulk. And then we have to figure out what to do from there. That's really gonna muddy the water, but we'll have to figure it out. Are we good there? On the safety tax.
Well, he did us.
See where that sheriff's department equipment, EMS equipment, but we had a question from Matt if he needed the 368 feet for hundred. He's saying yes.
I do not have that road one, it is, we didn't know who would.
On edit, we're zero for sheriff, because we're moving it to safety.
We out of the EMS, we based off what was $41,035.
Well, they're right, probably that.
And that comes out of their equipment line, we've got it written right there, you need to look at it, and it's.
But that's for 2025, right?
No, it's next year as well. They gave us 25 and then they told us 41 plus.
So we need to leave some money in there is what you're saying. Yeah, or just.
This tells you,
Four.
and it's just because that's how we set it up with those line items. I don't know if we can keep it at that line item. So that it's a clean.
Yeah, just keep it in there.
So that's
41,000.
and $35.
Yeah,
Yep.
they need this.
So yours.
We took us from the equipment line to our position.
Yeah, that's definitely another.
So do we.
We need to leave $41,035 in that. Why get?
They're paying us back.
We don't touch it.
For it because we developed, we think that it takes back from the.
It's not a payback, it just being funded it, right?
Right, reimbursed. Because at the beginning for us to take that out, they said we would get reimbursed with the equipment, and then it came that we couldn't get the land reimbursed, so that's how they.
So are you want to leave the EMS line and 41, whatever, and then you will move that.
We'll transfer like we did this year for that. It's just because it's on here and then like we said, I mean, if you guys can put it in our plan, then we'll just show that.
Yeah, that's what I'll add. Why not just cut to the chase and.
Is that all it added? Oh, zero the line, put the extra 41 in that edit. Yeah,
I just didn't know if we should do that.
that'll save an internal transfer.
So then all I have to do is get right on there, how we did that. That's transfer. It is 41. Yeah.
Oh, 4140,
Yeah.
and you're sort of gonna add that to 100,000, you already got 100,000.
41.
So 141,035. Okay, and then zero still in for EMS equipment, okay? All right. Now.
I guess the next question is then, does the EMS and the sheriff's department go back into that fund? Or how are we
Do what?
going, that amount that was put in there for the EMS and the sheriff's vehicles?
It's just zero.
So what happens with the funds there? I mean.
It'll
if
just
we need
create a
it-
big fund balance and then it's not
Well, it'll just
appropriated.
be like like
It's just staying in the
an
fund.
appropriation?
Yeah,
Okay.
So if we needed it, we could, there's money
We
there.
were talking about just like for the roads and stuff, if we could transfer it at.
yeah, we just added an extra
Okay.
decent amount of money back into your edit fund.
So we talked about, we take that and stick it in the road. Road work well, what is the line item in that road projects or something?
Yeah.
Between you and the
Maintenance or whatever.
It's their money.
And you also was gonna, the animal show.
Yeah, they were asking for some of that.
Is there balanced budget? Is it balanced? Is the edit budget balanced?
Well, it's their money. Did you hear me say that?
Everybody, is it balanced?
Cannot. Yeah. Yeah,
With their money, they.
So did you guys approve of the building for the highway department out of that, or is that something we're gonna have to figure out as well?
So what they did was you had two lines that were $48,000 apiece, okay?
Yes,
They cut those back to $8,000
a piece.
and diverted the 80,000 into the edit budget because they didn't want those big hits to the general fund. But they also had that $260,000 line where they were doing the fencing and some utilities. It was a big
Right.
ticket.
It was just a one-time request.
Yes.
Yes.
So they cut that too. So, the highway or the animal services building is back down to about 200,000, which is still up about 50 grand from what it was last year.
Yes, yes,
I got them at 216,000.
Okay, that may be wrong.
yeah. The third,
So,
8,000 for shelter, 8,000 for utilities and contract services of 200,000.
right, which went up like 50,000.
I did 8 and 8, like she said,
Yeah.
200,000 for contract service.
Yes, yeah.
okay, so the council said to add a line in the edit budget for animal services to the tune of $80,000. But since it's your budget, we were like, do we just add that because the council said, or do you want to say, oh yeah, we want that? Would you rather wait and ask on the issue?
I mean, what's the best way to do that? Wait and ask for additional.
So it's you guys, I mean, we just can't fund it out of general. You can fund it out of edit though, we just can't swing it out of them.
And
There's money in edit for it.
we can still put it in edit because we have those two, well,
I did something right now, I just added them all up.
you did,
Okay, right now.
okay. Yeah, because we still have it, so yeah.
Okay. They're saying to go ahead and put it in.
Okay.
Okay, what am I putting in there?
Chief animal is been added. Okay, they need to add that.
Yeah. Wait to get me to approve that.
We'll set the appropriations and advertise there and it'll be good.
So did you guys keep the building for the highway department for the tire and that in there, that 255?
Was that in the commissioner's budget or edit?
Edit.
I haven't looked at the other. Yeah, we haven't slashed anything.
I know the changes we just talked about, those ones.
I mean, we took out sheriff,
Right,
EMS, but we haven't cut anything else out of edit. No.
No. I mean, something we go just appropriation.
okay.
Yeah, that is where I'm now, then, you know. We're below 100.
Yeah.
And I think, you know.
Anything else we have questions on?
On the whole, all the other. Yeah.
I mean, they're all within their fund balance request, right?
I gave you all a new budget for riverboat because we did not have them.
Good.
This is over. That the commissioners too.
No,
We always use that as a catch.
correct.
So, are you good with us doing this budget like we did instead of asking for additional?
Yeah, I mean, their fund balance got what, 300-400. Yeah, and you're only asking for 30. Yeah, 100%. Well, they was a month of advertising for those items.
Actually, Jeremy needs to sign this, but I'll do it.
Yeah, yeah.
next time.
He'll be here.
I don't care.
No.
What is it?
No. No. Come on, Jared.
Logo was on.
We'll get everything started, then we'll next thing, approach your table, you have to get one out on it.
Drop your name, I think.
I'd say, actually. But.
We went.
Okay, there's another question on the salary.
We just got, it's really normal again.
1135 Coon Bridge, county engineer, highway superintendent, was under at least $1 an hour from this year's now.
Yeah.
That varies also.
It was currently calculated with dollar an hour.
Everybody does.
Yeah, same rate.
So.
Okay, that's
Here's how it is.
Yeah.
Rest of my fire department.
Now,
That was simple.
I was also really leery to bring this up now. Deputy Marble brought it to my attention that her raise should be, that her raise should be separate from everyone else's. So right now I gave her the $1 an hour, but I don't, again,
Why should hers be separate?
It's not hers. All the raises in the highway department are different.
Right,
So it's not her specifically. So.
I just,
because of the
information is
reorganization.
brought,
Yes.
and then I'm the one that has to like clear it. Again, I'm not trying to make trouble here, I'm just trying to get clear instructions.
That's part of the highway reorganization.
Everybody's jobs are changing out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything's
She's
changing
11,
with this.
Responsibilities
Responsibilities are changing.
Go back, I just, since we were talking about what.
Department.
Well, I think it's a new law.
Cambridge,
It was 11311, but they want to change it to 11118 and make it an office manager position instead of bookkeeper dispatcher.
So
That should.
if all that's approved, the council will tell you the rates for every position.
So,
They're
okay,
not
so if
passing-
Matt's plan goes through as he would like it, or if some version of Matt's plan goes through as he would like it, I will get clear instructions from the council.
Yeah. It'll be an
Expectations are what
With or without 67 cents.
Those raises were not based on percentage raises, they weren't based on dollar per hour raises. They were based on the restructuring of the entire department with the job titling.
We need to
everything.
get Matt going right now, because
Yeah,
I'm
increase
pressed for time.
job responsibility.
So which one do you wanna talk about first?
Cooking Bridge is the easiest.
What
There's
are,
only there's only 4 employees, I guess I'm on
is
that.
that the bookkeeper dispatcher rate?
No,
Okay.
it'll be just, I don't know, I don't know what you guys are doing, but it's mine, if you put me all in there, partially in there, then we got a bridge crew foreman, operator and labor, and only 3 paid positions. It's 1135.
Is that?
That's not the one with the truck driver.
One truck driver.
Now, I will say this. On all these, job title changes, we have not done those
In the budget,
in the 26 budget. If we do those, we need to go. And so we need to.
That's fine.
Understand.
yeah, fun.
So, I mean, salaries won't be paid to assess salary anyway, so what do we need to have? Do we advertise MBAs like we advertise in general and everything?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
is his request,
Well, the Coon Bridge is advertised. Highway is advertised.
and they're advertised and their number would fit within their fund balance and their draws, we're good there.
Yeah.
So when we start talking salary, this is when we need to really address this issue, but it sounds like you need to have a conversation.
That line for administrative assistant, ABA, that the state usually does currently.
We can go lower.
Out in there.
And they're within their fund balance, so. So we're gonna advertise and we're gonna, before we do salary, when it says we're gonna have a longer conversation. It's not gonna happen, right?
That, he has a.
Don't let anybody go, okay. It's just nice, well,
Take a minute, Logan.
Matt,
No,
let's
I
get
get
the
information. Department heads to the
restructure.
council.
Can you email that to us?
I know the employee is wrong, but when you feel you're training the job. I'm not giving you a raise. I want the county is bid on that license.
No, we're
So
not.
that we can say, there you go.
Okay, so I'm leaving that 48,000 in there for this ADA.
That's the one added position.
we're gonna leave him as advertised and then discuss salary.
Sounds good.
So we get on the rest of it.
Okay,
I do
I'm
honest.
getting there.
We just got presented with Owensville's, just so we can see it. They're always within their budget. I'll come up first reading. Okay, everybody got one. They're not here to talk about it. You have your packet. They'll be here next Tuesday. Okay.
Same with solid waste here next week.
Yeah.
What do you need? Here's what we've got set up. Part-time at 18,000 salary, it's a salary position. Right, is that where we're going with that? Well, there's discussion of moving to salary. What,
It's for he wasn't here.
are we moving EMA to salary?
We haven't said anything about it. We haven't had no discussion about that at all.
Chuck and I discussed it at what, the very beginning of the year and then.
The commissioners have not made any decision on that. I guess it would be our
Maybe
decision
it's
to
not
make.
ordinance, we have to address in the salary ordinance, but I mean, that position works for you, so if you want it to be a salary position, then you bring it to the council. I don't think you're gonna get heartburn one way or the other, on the decision you guys are gonna make, so you just need to make that before we set the salary.
By making it a salary position, that she becomes salary exempt, is no longer eligible for overtime, correct?
So we have that conversation first. And we'll be next.
Yeah, your job duties are with them, we just set them, that's all we do.
Now that's.
You'll have that conversation. Okay. Anything else?
Pre-trial services, 911H.
Okay,
I've got a question on public defender council. I don't know why, but it's,
that was me. I got that answer, so I'm good,
so 26,000 is good.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
We have done.
That's all the questions.
Okay.
We have written on Matt's budget, asked Matt to talk about budget. We need to go through that, having my land.
Ask what?
On Matt's budget.
Like Friday.
We asked him.
It's
said
less-
council asked-
Right, I think that's part of the conversation we need to have.
It's with the, area alignment of all of those people in the town.
That's the big portion.
Yours is basically the organization of the budget. You know, the line items and what to call, all that stuff.
And then positions and.
Hey, man.
I think he has, you've had the union on the horn all the time, haven't you?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I had a meeting with them 3 weeks ago here.
Yeah.
I hate to say, yeah, we're changing it all, because no.
Yeah, give them a 90-day notice, just put in writing. And that changes.
You guys think of anything else that you want to ask outside of those lines?
No, you guys did awesome for me last week, about 78, I appreciate it. Any other,
We got one more question.
I've talked way too much, do you guys have anything? Yes?
The Cume Building Fund, the Leonard.
Uh-huh.
So we had asked to put the security system in the building construction back into that, or is it gonna be the same as it was last year? For operations? Or is it-
Everything's advertised correct the way it is right now.
The building, we said that's not coming to us. For additional.
It got changed this year.
For additional, yeah, that'll have to be
And then we
presented to us.
still
for
have the
additional.
professional service at 25 that we use as we need.
Okay.
without asking, correct?
So I think the answer to your question is we decided we wanted you to bring that to us for additional when the time came.
Okay, but we still get professionals as already.
I'm pretty sure professionals stated.
Okay, okay,
Yes. And everything else will just be a request for additional.
okay.
Good, everybody? I guess, well,
You won't, your next.
I will not be, this is supposed to be.
So I will print out, once I get these things, some of the numbers, and then I'll print out a reader. But so that whenever we go to read them, it's all in order.
We need that fixed, you should be 40.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn?
Make it.